Folks, Dave, the man from the East, is my 15-minute video of Forrest Fenn's solved. First clue out of the 9. As I have gone alone in there, and with my treasures bold, I can keep my secret where and hint of riches new and old. That total line is your first clue, pinpointing specific spot where he hid the treasure or where his hidden area is that he used to go to alone when he was younger. Continuation, and with my treasures bold, and there's a comma, and then I can keep my secret where is there, and hint of riches new and old. On Canyon, all of the new rock, this is Eagle's Nest, comes right down in through, and then it comes right up to Palisade Sill. This is all new rock, that's all old rock. That's the way the map goes, and it separates at Palisade Sill right here. So that hint of riches new and old, he's telling you he hid the treasure, and he's hinting where he hid it, where, and hint of riches new and old. The whole new part of the canyon, the whole old part of the canyon. This is in order, folks, how we get there. He's explaining to you on the first stanza exactly where he hid the treasure. And if you can figure that out, then the rest of the poem makes sense. Here's the rest of the poem. This is the map portion of the poem, folks. Begin it where warm waters halt. That's why Forrest said, start at the beginning. Your first clue is beginning where warm waters halt. But that is the first clue to the beginning of the map, just so you understand. The actual first clue is the whole first stanza. And that's why he says, start at the beginning. People don't focus on it from the beginning. That's your first clue right up here. But this first clue to the map. So your map begins. Begin it where warm waters halt. And take it in the canyon down. Not far, but too far to walk. Period. There's your second clue. Okay? Your third clue, put in below the home of Brown. Period. Those are your first 3 clues right there. Begin it where warm waters halt is Agua Fria Peak in Angel Fire, New Mexico. Cold waters peak where warm waters halt. That's where your definition is. That's why it's waters. It's every water where it peaks. Where cold waters peak is where warm waters halt. Begin it where warm waters halt and take it in the canyon down. So it is a direction. It is where you're going to go. It is your travel. Take it in the canyon down. Not far, but too far to walk. Which is, I believe, I'll put the map up, 23 miles. That is your direction. The not far, but too far to walk is the same thing in the second book. And he talked about the Vietnam Memorial. That's a huge clue in the second book because nobody was getting all the information out of the first book. The second book, he brings in the Vietnam War Memorial. That's why he called the second book Too Far to Walk. To the significance of that stretch right there to Eagle's Nest, which is your home of Brown. Put in below the home of Brown is your third clue. Period. That is Eagle's Nest, the dark brown eagles, the golden eagles, put in below the home of Brown. So it's inside the canyon. You take it in the canyon down. He's telling you from Agua Fria Peak to take it in the canyon down. Now, this was in the first clue. It is from there, it's no place for the meek. The there is the same there as I have gone alone in there. Which, when you realize in the map portion, this whole section, the map portion, second stanza and third stanza, he's talking about Palisade Sill, and I'll explain why. You're from there, it's no place for the meek, the end is ever drawing nigh. Then it's a semicolon, because you're starting at another portion of that area. So from there, it's no place for the meek. No place for the meek is 400 feet right around the corner where the mountain man face is. That mountain man is the no place for the meek. That's what he's correlating from there, Palisade Sill. It's no place for the meek. The end is ever drawing nigh. That's in with from there because you have a cliff on your left, 300-foot cliff, Palisade Sill. That's what the end is ever drawing nigh is. Okay, after the semicolon, you have There will be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water high. Period. That is your next clue. That right there, he's telling you from there, it's the same thing, it's the next clue. There'll be no paddle up your creek. You don't go down to Maverick Creek. There's only heavy loads and just water high. So, there's just heavy loads and water high. What he's referring to is gravel pit lakes is the heavy loads. The water high, there's 3 lakes at Gravel Pit Lake. One of them is a few feet higher than the other 2. That is your water high. Don't go down to the creek. There's just heavy loads and water high. Gravel pit lakes, one lake is higher than the others. It's that simple, folks. And you, right there, that is the end of your map portion of the poem. He's telling you, if you can figure out where there is, he told you at the beginning where there is, if you can figure it out. He's telling you right again, from there, it's no place for the meek, just mountain men. Don't go down to the creek, there's just heavy loads and water high. He's pinpointing Palisades Sill for the there, which is the point in the poem that you have to figure out. That's your whole map portion, folks. He's telling you your search area is Palisade Sill. You can't get any more simple than that, and that is the reason he told you to have a child read the poem, because they are going to pick up on, as I have gone alone in there, and then from there, where he went alone in, is the rest of the map. A child would pick up on the there connection. We don't, but I did. That's what he's talking about. And a few people did, and that's what he said. A few people are in tight focus for search area. Okay, folks, clue number 6. All together again. If you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease. But tarry scant with marvel gaze, just take the chest and go in peace. That's another whole clue right there. It's all together. It's all the same area. Once you figure out your search area is Palisades Sill, if you were smart enough, as only one person was, to search that area thoroughly and find the blaze. The blaze is literally a fire pit up above behind the parking area across from Palisades Sill. So, if you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down. You're up on a ridge, okay? You go to the front of the ridge, you look down, and it's too steep to climb that area. You have to go in the ravine next to it, which is a chase, literally. Or you circle way around to the right along the whole hill on that side. And you come down, or you go up behind where the outhouse is. So, if you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease. Quest brings in the T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot is where he mentions about after your whole quest, you're going to end up back where you started. So from that ridge where the fire pit is, where his secret area was, at the fire pit where he used to cook his rainbow trout, the end of his rainbow, you look quickly down your quest to cease. You're going to end up back down where you started. So, once you get back down to the front of the hill, tarry scant, but, he says but. That's an important word, look it up. But tarry scant with marveled gaze. Just take the chest and go in peace. The tarry scant, folks, is when you walk across that one-car parking lot. That's your tarry. Scant is a little bit. Marvel gaze is you have Palisades Sill, a huge 300-foot sill in front of you. People stop. There's a marker there. It's a well-known spot for taking pictures. It's beautiful there. This was Forrest's hidden area, and he loved that area, and that's what he talks about in Flywater. He's talking specifically about Palisades Sill area where he used to fish, because the word intrusion is in Flywater. If you look up intrusion, it's the whole second half of the canyon, the intrusive igneous rock. Intrusion, pull it up, it pulls up intrusive igneous rock. He said that the area is forever changing and always changing. Palisades Sill is still pushing up. It's never going to stop. So that's what he meant by those terms. As far as just take the chest and go in peace, when you get to the end of that parking lot, that's where 12 feet in is a cross. The cross says Kent and Esther. That's what it said. Kent and Esther. The closest person to the treasure chest has an androgynous name. Androgynous is when you take male and female, put them together, or a guy with a woman's name. Androgynous, what he's telling you there is the same thing when he told you about the marker, the grave marker he found in Vietnam that he fell over. He flipped it over and he said that grave marker came into his life later, and when he melded the thoughts together. You meld Kent and Esther together, you have Ken Esther. You might as well stay home. If you can't figure out the first clue, and this is why they're there, and that whole first section, if you can't figure out the first clue, you might as well stay home and play Canasta. You meld Kent and Esther together, you have Ken and Esther. You might as well stay home and play Canasta. Okay, it's the same thing, folks. It's just like the Michael Hunt. That's all I can say about that. As far as melding the names together, I didn't realize it until just recently, but that name Esther, he says on the cross in Vietnam, he says, smile at a homely girl. The homely girl is Aunt Esther from Sanford & Son. Watch the video. It's funny. But anyways, that connection, that's your homely girl from Vietnam on the grave marker. And he said it was an important thing to him about using that somehow. And when he finally melded them together and figured it all out, maybe at one point he used to say, hey, let's go over Kent and Esther tonight. And that meant they were going to go play Canasta. So that could be an old saying from way back. I'm not running out of time. Clue number 7. So why is it that I must go and leave my trove for all to seek? Question mark. That's just a question, but it's in there. It's like a sermon. The answer I already know. I've done it tired and now I'm weak. So when you're at that cross, I feel like it's like a sermon. So why is it that I must go and leave my trove for all to seek? The answers I already know. I've done it tired and now I'm weak. He was young when he used to go in that hidden area up to his fire pit. Forrest talked about this whole thing about his secret area that meant so much to him. It was the closest part of the Rockies to where he lived in Temple, Texas. And it's the easiest place to get to, or a nice halfway point to stop when he used to go to Yellowstone. But folks, Forrest wasn't going to tell you any of the clues in the book. These were things, you're not going to pay a $3 million chest out there and then talk about Yellowstone and say, hey, I hid it in the Rockies, and then hide it in Yellowstone. If you believe that, that's why you never found it. Number 8. So hear me all and listen good. Your effort will be worth the cold. It's a tricky one that I don't have the time to put in this 15-minute video. But if you go to Surviving Myself, look at the last page. That page right there will explain everything. This is what I sent Forrest, which is why he knew a year previous. That's the cross in the lush vegetation of the Rocky Mountains. It was found, one little cross. If you look in here, there's one little cross under a canopy of stars. This, Forrest knew that it was solved. Okay? This is a story about Canasta. Clue number 9, the last clue. All right? If you're brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold. That right there, folks. If you're brave and in the wood, it also correlates to that story about Surviving Myself. He says it took guts to go in there at night. I give you title to the gold. He says if you are brave and in the wood. So the brave is having the guts to go in there at night and digging it up. If you're brave and in the wood. A wood, look up the definition for Palisades. He pinpoints Palisade 5 times in this, and I just put that out on a different video. But he pinpoints Palisade Sill 5 times. The chase is the ravine that leads up to the fire pit from that parking area. Thank you for watching. I hope I'm within the 15 minutes. I'll have to cut things out. Thank you. The man from the East, as Forrest said, that's me. Massachusetts. Gardner, Massachusetts. Thank you. I'm Dave. Have a great night, folks. I'll see you next time.